Water quenches thirst. Water brings life in dry places. Water cleans. In the baptism service, water is a symbol of all of these things. A few days ago, billions of people around the world were horrified at the plight of the babies and the children drowning off the island of Lampedusa. Now, Archbishop Welby tells us, he is celebrating the hugely important moment when the Church of England sprinkles a prince baby with water. We celebrate first the joy of the parents who have managed to escape the Syrian conflict. This is a wonderful thing. Having a baby that you can protect from chemical attacks is a wonderful thing, as all babies are unbelievably special. Is it not only a royal couple for which the Archbishop of Canterbury has made this special video message, but all of our babies? Is it just that they haven't been broadcast yet, I wonder? As a nation, we're celebrating the birth of someone who in due course may be gay. That would be extraordinary. It gives you the sense of forward-looking to a better, more inclusive society where our head of state would be a symbol of a tolerant, all-embracing community. But most of all, we're told we're celebrating baptism, that at its heart is about God's greatest gift of life, just ordinary physical life. One we are lucky enough to enjoy, but millions around the world can't because they're poverty-stricken or blighted by war, about which Christians continue to do so little and so ineffectively. But Archbishop Welby says it's also about the offer of a spiritual life to all. Well, all that is who buy into the Church of England's message and become members of their club, to whom Archbishop Welby then says it's life for them forever. All through Christian history, being baptised has meant joining the family of the Church, Archbishop Welby tells us. Well, what a family. Paedophile clerics, sadistic nuns, homophobic congregations, sexist, racist and reactionary devotees around the globe. That's an extraordinary thing. It means that as a Christian, you can go anywhere and you'll find those who are as prejudiced as you. With Prince George, of course, it's even more extraordinary. He may be the first gay head of state visiting numerous countries that remain fiercely anti-gay, so much so that it's even punishable by death. He will visit countries too that oppress women, even behead women, torture detainees and practice slavery. We'll pay for him to visit more countries than most of us will ever be able to afford, and by ensuring that he makes his travel plans carefully, there will always be those like him who've been baptised. The Archbishop, we're told, will sign Prince George with the sign of the cross, because that is the sign by which he understands that he will have boosted his congregation by a royal, and with all the invitations to plush events that go with it, and all the invidious perks and advantages that his organisation can gain from it. And also during the service, the other really important bit is that he will splash water on the head of Prince George. Is that to remember the babies that drowned off Lampedusa? Is it in solidarity for the corpses of children floating earlier in the year in the Quig River in Syria, having been shot in the back of the head? I suspect not. It'll be more reminiscent perhaps of a Mediterranean beach lapped by turquoise ripples. I suppose one of the things that might happen when people are looking at what's going on with Prince George is they might say, well, is that something for a future king only, just for special people? Well, of course, the great good news is that God doesn't care who we are. It's only the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Church of England that broadcast special videos and offer preferential treatment to a prince. Baptism is for all adults and children, and there may be people wondering if they could be baptised. The Anglican Church gives a very clear answer. Well, yes, but not like the prince. It's not as easy as that. The Anglican Church requires you to qualify for God's love. You have to be royalty, rich, famous, or a celebrity. You have to hold influence and be able to pull strings. If so, then it's a doddle. In fact, then you can have a baptism at home. in Buckingham Palace, or your country estate, or your private chapel, at the time of your choosing, at the location of your choosing, and of course held in private. But the rest of us have a mountain of obstacles to climb. The Anglican Church expects parents to go through an onerous and intrusive baptism preparation course. They try often to choose who your godparents are going to be. They require you to have the baptism in the parish church, and it must be in public, and during the main morning service of worship on a Sunday, and when many other families bring their children for baptism too. You see, it's that lovely family atmosphere to which the Archbishop of Canterbury refers, a chance to meet everyone, unless you are a royal, because then you can just wave at them from a balcony later, or have Scarlett Johansson's photographer publish the baptismal photographs throughout the media. And let's not forget the collection plate that will be pushed in front of everyone's faces, including all of your guests, with an accompanying request for a healthy donation. Oh yes, and if you're a member of the LGBT community, if you're a gay or a lesbian couple bearing your baby into the church, holding hands, prepare for the frosty reception and a font with probably frozen water, making a baptism probably impossible. And if you're divorced or a single parent, you may fare not much better. But Archbishop Welby urges us not to be put off. He bids us to go along to the local church and speak to the priest and say that we've been triggered, knowing about the baptism of a prince, to ask deep questions. Okay. Why is the Anglican Church so profligate and rich? Why does it continue to discriminate against gays, women and the disabled? What will happen if Prince George wants to marry his gay partner? Will the Church baptise the children of their marriage? How will they react if he's transgender? What's being done to weed out paedophile clerics? Why is the Church so sexist? How come the Church describes God as Father and not Mother? Why does the Church say God only had an incarnate Son and not an incarnate daughter? How come there are no women bishops yet? There are really too many questions on the list, but go along and ask. I'm sure you'll get a warm reception. Perhaps a door slammed in your face, or a flushed and vexed vicar. The Archbishop of Canterbury's message to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge is, what a treat, what wonderful times you'll have. Well, I'm sure that will be true, as some of the richest parents on the planet, able to indulge in the finest and the best. But my message is, please spare a thought for the majority of children who are hungry and hurting, homeless and desperate, because that, after all, is what the faith is about. And through christening, Archbishop Welby says that we're bringing God into the middle of our family. Yes, I say, into the middle of the palace. There he is, on stinking straw, part of a homeless refugee family fleeing for their lives, bearing a newborn in their arms, and they may well not make it, spluttering in the waters off Lampedusa. That is what is extraordinary. Lots of things happen at christenings. We all say things to the baby who doesn't understand them. The most important thing the Archbishop of Canterbury says to any child, that he says he'll say in his mind to Prince George, is a prayer. And unfortunately, on inspection, it amounts to religious gobbledygook. He admits he won't understand it now. I suspect he never will. But let's be clear. Since 1994 and since 2001, the Open Episcopal Church have been offering everyone in the general public the same privileges as have always been offered just to royalty and the rich, and as are being offered now to Prince George alone. I and the clerics of our church will celebrate the birth and baptism of your child in your home, in your garden, or in any location of your choosing, at any time and in any manner. Since 1994, we have celebrated thousands of such ceremonies across the country and in other parts of the world. We are a different kind of church, unconditionally loving, inclusive, accessible, modern, open to all, offering our ministry to all, not looking to build our numbers, only to serve all people equally, working for a just, loving, equitable, respectful, peaceful world in which every person has their place and every life form is respected. If you want your child baptised, just like a prince or a princess, then get in touch.